tripping. This is actually a relaunch of my stream because moments ago I tried to start one, but despite my device already being in landscape mode, the app was asking me to rotate my device once again. And I was confused because then I ended up rotating my phone and it ended up having a vertical format, and that confused the crap out of me, so I had to cancel it and start this one. And I just learned that in the settings you have to make sure that you select horizontal. In my case, 100% of the time I'm going to be streaming in landscape mode, is what I have always done, and it is what I just prefer. And it turns out that now the default recommended by YouTube is the stupid vertical slash portrait orientation because it wants for this stream to appear under the shorts feed. And I'm like, I don't want to appear in the shorts feed because I'm not a shorter kind of content creator. So anyway, you're not tripping. I did have to relaunch this stream. And today, I don't think I can hang out for very long, but I thought, how about if I just run down some of the topics that I have in my list and breeze through them, give my thoughts, and let you guys have an opportunity to join for as long as I can hang out. And yeah, just to try to get in the grind about streaming. I still haven't figured out my situation yet with how to stream more often, but I'm trying, you guys. I haven't forgotten. Hey, Holger. So, today, one topic that I can go over would be okay. You guys know my opinion on tips, and the consensus for me is that I feel like a lot of people who I have met feel the same way that I feel, which is tips. It's a culture that's getting out of control, and in a lot of cases, it's not really justified for us to be tipping because there are so many takeout orders. And if you are taking your orders out of the restaurant, it doesn't make sense for you to be supplying a tip when you're not experiencing the full service of a restaurant. Well, another aspect of tipping that I'm not sure I ever mentioned, I don't think I did, is literal places without servers who have their terminals asking you for a tip. That doesn't make any sense. There's this place I go to where you can order from a really tiny menu and you place the order, they prepare it for you, they call out your number, and you have to get up from wherever you're sitting, head to the counter, grab your tray, go back to your seat, and help yourself to utensils, including napkins, because none of the tables have napkins. So, in a situation like that, I'm not going to tip you at the terminal ahead of time because I know that you don't provide a service. So why are you asking me for a tip if you're not a place that's providing a full service? See what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to me. The way that I was raised and I was taught about tipping, it's when you're at a sit down restaurant and there's a waiter slash waitress, that is when you tip because these folks are getting paid literally by tips. And I'm not entirely sure why that is the way it is, but something about they only get paid like $2 an hour or something crazy like that, which I still don't understand why they don't have the minimum federal wage of like, are we still at 7.25? Something stupid like that. See what I mean? So tips is still a topic that still kind of haunts me and keeps getting at me because every day, or rather every week, I feel like I see a new point to the discussion. And then there's the people who agree and the people who disagree. And I just do not know what to think anymore. But I just know that I can remain firm to my opinion. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. No, I'm not going to give you a tip if I'm helping myself at everything. What is the next thing you're going to ask of me? For me to literally use your stove, your oven, your fryer. I pay at the terminal and I have to cook my food, prepare it, put it together. The only thing you're doing is providing me with the materials in the kitchen, and then I have to sit myself down and get my supplies and all that. And you're still gonna ask me for a tip when I did all the work? No! So this is a topic that for some reason it really gets me fired up. But just so you know, my opinion hasn't changed, but I did run into that kind of setup at this one restaurant and I was like, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Are you shitting me? You are asking me for a tip when you don't even bring me my food to my table and you don't even have supplies on the table? No. But anyway, I thought that I would share that and let you guys once again know that my opinion hasn't changed. Hey Jimmy, it's been a minute since I've seen you around, so good to see you. How are you doing? I hope everything is okay. For me, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. Let's see. Ooh, so I had this thought some days ago, and this is gonna be the weirdest one ever. And I was going to wait to make a video about this, but I sincerely could not think of anything really with substance to do on this topic. But what makes you laugh as an adult versus what made you laugh as a kid? And I think the reason I came up with this topic it's because I find that as an adult, I have definitely had my fair share of being sad, depressed, upset, feeling down very often. But I also have had my moments in which at least I can say that once a week I seem to get a pretty good belly laugh. But honestly, the things that I find extremely humorous tend to be more about the things that people do in person or the ways that people do things in person. Like sometimes people I work with, they have quirks and specific mannerisms that they just come out at a random time and it just matches the situation so well that I just start laughing. And sometimes I try to contain it and I just cannot. And there's that one person who, as soon as they walk into the room, you're kind of just laughing because they have like that kind of face to them. No matter what happens, they just make you laugh. Their presence, their energy, they're just full of that kind of personality. And I would give you an example of what I mean, but like I just said, for me, the things that make me laugh are spontaneous things. When it comes to content that I find entertaining, I think that my kind of humor tends to revolve around ridiculing politics, like stupid laws, stupid rules, stupid expectations. Sometimes I run into videos on YouTube that take a law or a historical event and then they have a modern twist to it, a modern take, a modern way of explaining it. And then I tell myself, damn, as a teenager, I never thought of that. I never looked at it that way, or I never knew about this because when you're taking those classes, time is so constrained that realistically, you don't really have time to go into topics with depth. And it is up to you as an adult to continue your studies on those subjects independently and perhaps pick up a book or feed your searches with those terms. And then hopefully the algorithm gods will smile upon you and you'll run into content that aligns with that. And that's how I've been learning a lot of the stuff that when I was in school, I remember going over the subject, but I never quite grasped what it was. I just learned the answers to whatever test questions I could expect, and that was it. So then I told myself, I am smart in the aspect of retaining information to pass something, but I wasn't necessarily smart to where if you were to ask me, my favorite example is what I saw on my history end of grade test, and it was the insular cases. I never heard of the insular cases. So something like that I have to make sure that as an adult, I remember that that happened to me and that I still don't know what it is, and then take the initiative to research that type of thing. But something like that, I may run into a subject that someone created a video on and they explain it so well, and they may add elements of comedy because of how ridiculous those olden days laws and ideals are versus the kind of modern day ideas that we have, that when someone puts it like that in an informal kind of, what is it, expression, it makes so much better sense because when you're in school, your teachers are going to speak to you in a rather professional manner. You may get the occasional teacher who's more freelanced and they don't mind talking to you in more vernacular. Like they don't really try to use confusing, complex words, they simplify it for you. Well, I can appreciate the people on YouTube who also use special effects to even broaden the picture in your mind as you learn about the concept. Does that make sense? So that seems to be the humor that I gravitate toward these days, which is, damn, when I was in school, there are so many subjects that I took so seriously that now, when I have somebody else explaining it to me in a less serious way, that mess is hilarious. And to give you an example, one of my favorite channels currently is Honest Ads. And basically, it's this old guy serves as the actor, but basically, he takes concepts and he will break them down. Something like, oh, what if supermarkets were honest? What if junk food commercials were honest? What if the diamond industry was honest? Stuff like that. So when you see this person breaking it down for you like that and exposing certain things, certain businesses, it really helps. At least for me, it really helps. So that is the kind of humor that I have. It's more adult geared, but even as a kid, I had a degree of this sense of humor going on, just not a proper host for it. And don't mind me, but someone just parked next to me. And like always, they're driving an SUV that they cannot handle. They tried to back into the spot, just like I am, and they had to back in. They missed the spot. They were parking over two spots. So she rolled forward, then backed up, rolled forward again to angle herself toward me, to then roll forward one more time, and then finally accommodate herself. I don't get it. Why do you get a vehicle that you cannot handle? But anyway, I thought I would point that out. I still laugh at kind of the same stuff I did when I was growing up. Or more accurately, my sense of humor is based on the old Looney Tunes cartoons and cartoons from that era. Oh my god, I still find Looney Tunes to be pretty hilarious. I'm glad that we have access to them now. Hey Garuda! For me, I think my favorite Looney Tunes had to be the ones with what was his name? Foghorn Leghorn something? The rooster guy. My favorite episode has to be the one where there's like this chick, this little boy that's a chicken, and then he's talking about baseball, talking about there's something a little about a boy who's never played baseball before, and basically that chicken is like super smart, but he looks like he's socially awkward, and he doesn't do anything that random kids do, like play games, stuff like that, recreational activities associated with young people. But it turns out that he can do like math equations to ace and be efficient in those sports, whereas Foghorn is more like, oh, he's more practical. He's more about having the skill. But this little boy, this little chicken, he'll have the skill, but he has to do the calculation first. Even though it's ridiculous because his body doesn't suggest that he is capable of performing such a thing. So you see that kind of sense of humor from Looney Tunes. I can say that I too have a little bit of that humor. things like droopy, etc. When you stub your toe and people laugh, I laugh with them and say, I have nine more toes, baby. I like preschool jokes. See, when it comes to me and physical jokes, I think the physical jokes that I tend to make and enjoy witnessing more often have to be with age. Like a lot of people like to say that, the reason I got that wrong is because I'm not wearing my glasses. Or like anytime I try to show an older person something and they push my hand away because they're farsighted, I'm like, oh yeah, that joke. I've been learning about that one with my mom because she's been farsighted the entire time I've been alive. But outside of that, um, those kinds of jokes. For me, if it's me and I'm genuinely hurt, like if I smash my toe, which I to this day believe that I have a fractured toe. Something must have happened to like my pinky toe on my left foot because back in 2012, I ran it, totally smashed it into, you know, the little legs that are underneath couches. I forget what those are called. But anyway, I was barefoot and I took a step very suddenly and oh, I can feel it every time I remember. And I smashed my stupid pinky toe. And ever since my I swear that pinky toe has been looking a little discolored. So I'm pretty sure that something happened to it because sometimes it has like a little bit of a grinding sound if I bend it a certain way. And I'm pretty sure something happened to it. But it's not like it hurts permanently, it just looks and feels weird. I will say gay jokes and female jokes, most non woke gay people and non woke feminists actually get slightly offended but cannot help but to break down in pure laughter. So, when it comes to those, I can agree that there's some stuff I find humorous, especially because I don't know about you guys, but those groups of people, to me, they tend to have a unique accent. And it looks like we all collectively agree that it is a thing. But if you're a member of that community, you may deny it. But I have met some gay folks who will admit that they do change how they speak a little bit. But but yeah, when it comes to that, same thing. On the internet, the jokes come up, and sometimes I'm like, oh, this person may have taken it a little too far, but it was funny. And this person is saying that in a sense at their expense. Because a lot of the times, these people with that type of sense of humor, they are self deprecating. And I know that I can have self deprecating tendencies. So if this person is inviting you into their sense of humor to that extent, why would we trip? See what I mean? So I think that if you are the one initiating that kind of commentary, at least in a public setting, then you have to accept whatever reaction may come from the audience. Some of it is going to be pleasant, some of it isn't. But I personally do not make jokes like that unless the person, in a sense, brought it to themselves. I wish I could remember an example like right off the bat, but I just know that what I remember most vividly is I used to have this one coworker who was super, super, super into that. They were very attracted to their same sex, but they described themselves as the female in the relationship. This was a man, and this was like a man pushing 40. But he would talk about how he is really into pop music. So one time he said that he is punching in, but he is Britney, you know, like Britney Spears, because he was into that music. And then when I heard that, I was like, lol, what? So anyway, on another occasion, as he was punching in, and I got to know him a little better, I said, so who's punching in today? Is it Britney? Is it Christina? Stuff like that. And what that meant is that you know how all these pop stars, their music may sound the same, but their personality may be slightly different. Well, Christina might probably be associated as the more fierce one. Britney might be associated as the more innocent ish one. Someone like Katy Perry may be associated as the more liberal, out there type, something like that. See what I mean? So with this guy, he brought that on himself. So because he said that and he said it in my presence to me, then I learned to bond with him through that. It's not like one day I just felt comfortable saying that, hey, you're a diva. And because you're a diva and you're into pop music, I'm going to effeminate you. No, you said you tend to be the feminine one in your relationships. And you called yourself by the name of a female pop star. So at that moment, I'm expecting that you invited me into that type of thing. And he took it well. He said, that is exactly what I was trying to do. I wanted you to be comfortable with that stuff because that's how I roll. And I am inviting you to do such a thing if you feel comfortable with it. That's just my sense of humor. See what I mean? So, that type of thing, as a child, first of all, I did not understand about that type of thing. It really wasn't common to see this thing and have these kinds of discussions. But having interactions like that, I'm grateful for. I cannot deny it. And then when it comes to female jokes, let's just mention Amy Schumer, I think is her name, real quick. I don't find that woman funny. And I don't like that on YouTube. I've been getting fed this one stupid tampon commercial. And it's basically like a news forecast kind of thing where she goes, like the rain, your period, or rather, she goes, what is it? What is it? Like the weather, your period changes every day. And then she tries to describe to you what kind of tampon you need to use. And what I hate about that lady is that, like I just said, not only do I not find her funny, but she is always talking about her reproductive organs. And I guess there goes the monetization on this stream, but I don't care. But yeah, she's always referencing her reproductive organs. And it's not even in a funny way. It's just that is all her life revolves around. That is all she has to talk about. And it just bothers me. Like, seriously, lady, you have nothing else at all to say, nothing else to reference in your day. It's continuously about the almighty P word. No! So I can't roll with people like that. So to me, she is the worst example of comedy in a female. But I can say that I have met the occasional female who has those mannerisms and tone of voice and way of expressing herself that makes me laugh. I had a coworker in my department that she moved to another department, but I found her funny because she would give you customer service that's very sweet, very kind, very polite, and she has this voice, really soft, really high pitch. Oh, yeah, nice, have a good one. But then all of a sudden, when you leave the vicinity and she is talking to the squad and she is actually speaking her mind, it's something like, did you hear what that motherfucker just said? Like that kind of tone. It's like she has a more normal, natural tone, and it comes out of nowhere. Her savagery is unexpected. And to me, people who talk savagely are the most hilarious to me because you're actually basing your humor in a way that is real, like reality comedy, if you will. And I think that's my favorite way to bond with people. You know how I said that politics seems to be the area of comedy and humor that I enjoy the most? Well, to me, that is work politics. Customers are clowns, managers can be clowns. So when you actually talk savagely about them, but what you're saying is true, that to me is insanely funny because we are in a professional setting. You are depriving yourself being pretty much restrained from expressing yourself how you mean to. But to see somebody break protocol and do so with so much grace and savagely, that to me is hilarious. There's a meme about a guy who's trying to do laundry, but he's not sure what he's doing. He's putting his stuff in the washer and asks his wife, GF, what temperature he should set the water to wash his favorite shirt. She says for the temperature, what does the shirt say? He says Pink Floyd, and that still cracks me up when I remember that meme. I have not seen that particular meme. At least I don't have like an immediate memory of it, but I do understand what you mean, because that some people may look at it as that's so corny, but when it's harmless like that, sure. But I must say, to feed off what you just shared, I don't find it particularly funny when you're continuously putting down the opposite sex to make a point. Like, say, for instance, there was this, I think it was a TikTok that made it to YouTube, in which a girl was asking her husband for pads with wings. So he went out to the store, he bought pads, but he also brought literal chicken wings. Pads with wings means that the pads have a little flap on the sides that wrap around the underwear, and it provides additional surface area to absorb whatever shedding of your uterine lining is going on, that not having those wings would make it fall off the edge of the pad, if that makes sense. So she kept saying, I asked you for pads with wings. Pads with wings. That's all she kept saying. And then the guy kept responding, all confused, like, I got you pads and I got you wings. She never in the short explained that what she meant was, honey, I mean that the pads themselves have wings. So when they say it like that, it makes me believe that that bullshit was just staged. And at that point, it becomes cringy. But if the guy genuinely thought that and that's what he did, then okay, I can see how the mistake is pretty innocent, you know? But sometimes some people will do that and exaggerate that inefficiency of the opposite sex at fulfilling your requests. That is not funny. To me, it is cringe. But if you were to tell me that, hey, I once asked my husband to get me this and this is what he came back with, and it was completely innocent, it's like, lol, okay, I get it. But the problem is that nowadays, because a lot of humor is staged, I tend to be able to pick up on the fact that something is not natural or authentic, something is staged. And when I am right and I figure that it was staged and they admit that it was staged, it's like, see, I couldn't enjoy that because it's not humor that progressed organically. See what I mean? So it's not like, okay, I'm anti opposite sex jokes, nothing like that. It's if it's very abundantly obvious that it was staged and that you're deliberately doing this to try to make a gender or a sex look like a dumbass, that's cringy. And I feel like that happens most often, women saying that about men, or maybe the algorithm just feeds me like that. But every single time I find it pretty cringe. I don't know how you guys would feel about that one. That's the way I see it, but let me know how you feel about it. But I just think that it's not usually funny. It takes a lot of purity, I guess, in the joke, in the remark for me to find that funny. But if it's obvious that you're just doing this to like talk down on the opposite sex, I'm not interested. Just save it. You're gonna have to do a video about your broken pinky toe. Yeah, discolored sounds like it broke. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it hurt like a bitch back in the day when it happened. So I have always wondered, about it. But I'm not gonna check it out because it was still attached to me. It still has feeling. It still works. But yeah, it has felt weird this entire time. The big toe getting hit, I don't care. If I smash my pinky toes on anything, I have to light candles and get ready to cry. The pinky toe will make you want to learn how to levitate in tears. Yes, when that bitch gets hit or hurt in any way, why is it that everything in the body that's tiny, that's small, hurts pathetically the most? But anything else is like, I can live with that bump on my arm. Like in some of my recent videos, you guys may have noticed that conspicuous bruise that I had on my left arm. I sincerely don't even know how it happened. I know I ran my arm onto something, but I do not remember what the fuck I hit. And that bruise looks worse than what I actually felt. It wasn't even painful. I would press it and I couldn't feel anything. And then as the days progressed, I'm like, this bruise is taking more than a day to go away. What the fuck? But but then I just wish that I remember what it was. And I guess because I was wearing shirts that were like 3/4 long when it comes to sleeve length, I didn't notice it. It wasn't until I got home and I took my shirt off and underneath I had a tank top that I noticed that shit. And I was like, what in the hell? How did this how did this happen? When did I become so fragile? But at least, I didn't feel the pain. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it hit like the more cushioned part of my arm. But I just could not understand the ridiculousness of me having that giant bruise. And I didn't feel a damn thing. I had to see it. To me, seeing that in the mirror was more traumatic than me being like, okay, let me press it and anticipate the pain and nothing happened. It was traumatic. Let's see. Stubbing a toe is when new curse words are invented. Yes! Oh my god, when I hit my pinky toe and any other time my toes get injured in any way, I always say, fuck! And I mean, I yell. I don't usually speak loud at all, but when that shit happens, because it's unexpected, I just go like, fuck! Like all kinds of grunting sounds coming out of me. So true. People be like, wow, how, or he is posed by a demon. You mean possessed? With them cuss words, me in my head, I am cussing because my pinky toe is screaming and I am in distress. Pads with wings. He did what she said. Exactly. See, now that you say that, in a situation like that, if I endorse a man with a mission for me, and he performs well, like he does something, he gives something, he tries, there's no way I can be mad at him. Even if he gets my request wrong, honestly, I'll be like, honey, thanks for trying, but this is what I meant. However, what you did bring, I have something to do with it. I have an idea of how this can be useful. I'm never going to tell a guy, oh my God, how are you so stupid? If I'm on my period and I'm asking you for a pad with wings, how is it that it did not dawn on you that I have bought these before? And yeah, you're not a man who needs this, therefore I don't expect you to pay attention. But how could you not use context clues and not bring the right thing and figure that I meant that it was winged pads? See what I mean? That can be handled any number of ways. But to feed off that random note, I know a girl on Twitter, she is Filipino, and she had a disagreement with someone, and the confusion could have been prevented by one simple word being added. I'm going to try to find that tweet real quick because you guys will totally see what I'm saying. Uh, it has to do with women and marriage and what they want. Let me see. Please come up. Please come up. Please come up. Please come up. Oh, I know how to find it because I don't have a lot of liked tweets, and she liked that tweet. Aha, found it. Okay, you guys, hear me out. So, some random user by the name of the feminist turned something something, the name cut off, so I can't show it to you. Anyway, her tweet goes, all women want is a handsome man who will give her babies and work hard so she can stay home. Now, my Filipino friend is, first of all, bi, and second of all, she does not want kids. So she said they had a little bit of an exchange, but I interjected and said, well, it's not too long. I'll go ahead and read the whole thing. My Filipino friend said, I do not, so perhaps say you want. The feminist lady goes, no, thank you. Then my friend goes, then you're lying and you know it, since not all women want what you want. Then the feminist goes, I didn't say all women in the sense that all women. I said in the sense of this is all the things that women want. Please read better. I really hate it when a woman has that kind of arrogance, you know? If this doesn't apply to you, then just move along. Good grief. So my friend ends it with, I'm simply pointing out that you said all women want those things. It's not true. Since you claim to be a Christian, you should be truthful. Some women want these things, would be the proper way to phrase it. And then my reply was, I think the confusion comes from omitting all that, and I put it in a bracket, all that women want is dot dot dot. It's just common to say all we want is instead of all that we want is. Either way, I can still say I've never wanted kids. So dot dot dot. See what I mean? So right there, the context is lost. And the reason I bring up the fact that my friend is Filipino is because she says that, of course, English is not her first language and that there are certain nuances in the language that get lost in translation for her. And I said, I can completely understand that because it does not help that the way that we write nowadays resembles the way that we speak. And when we speak, we tend to take shortcuts. And that's why, me personally, I like to take great pride in the way that I write. I don't care how I talk. I deliberately make mistakes when I talk. Sometimes people ask me, hey, how are you? And I'll say, I'm good. I know I'm supposed to say I'm well. But sometimes I don't need to be taking my life so seriously when it comes to my education. People are informal a vast majority of the time. So if you are someone new in my life, I will be abnormally formal to ensure that we get to know each other properly. And eventually, as we get to know each other better, certain boundaries and formalities may be dropped. But some people, as soon as they meet you and they come from talking like you come from the streets, everybody ever that they meet, they want to address like you came from the streets, and those formalities are disappearing. When I go to the bank, for example, I used to kind of dress up, but now I don't anymore. But I definitely express myself as professionally as I can. I will talk to the clerk as if I were at my job in customer service. But if I'm somewhere like at a restaurant placing my order, I'm not going to be sounding all serious and dress all kinds of posh. See what I mean? So, depending on the setting and the situation, that determines how I will express myself. If I'm tight with you, one of the things that you're going to notice is that eventually I am going to change the way I spell words. Like instead of saying word, W-O-R-D, I'll say word, W-E-R-D, because that's kind of how I talk. Or sometimes I'll start typing stuff kind of funny, like the word bread. I'll spell it as B-R-E-D-D instead, or Dusty. Oh, look at Dusty. He dead on the floor. D-E-D-D. But we have to get to a certain level first before I'll start showing you my silly side. But in this instance, that's what I'm saying. That you come to certain settings like you have this superiority complex, but you don't even have your way of expressing yourself backing you up. See what I mean? But here you are trying to have like a moral ground, and you want to virtue signal so much, but you're not even in the right? So just leave people alone, let people be, and just chill the fuck out, man. Don't take life so seriously, especially online. Like Twitter, ain't no way I'm letting Twitter influence me. YouTube, you guys can contribute amazing things to my day, but outside of my channel in general, I don't let this place govern me. But there are some people who spend so much time online that this begins to define them. That is concerning. But hopefully, me sharing this anecdote helped to illustrate the point and it made sense to you. But as soon as I read it, I understood from both sides. I understood that she's saying, all we want is for a man to da 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 da. But my friend looked at it as all women want, if you pause in your mind or verbally as you speak, you can kind of accentuate the difference. All we want is for a man to take care of us versus all we want is a man to take care of us. There's like a slight difference. But if you were to throw that word that I said, all that we want is, that will be more inclined with the every woman wants this and that, as opposed to the version that omits it. It makes it a little bit more open to confusion. I don't know. I just took my English classes very seriously, my creative writing classes, my essay writings very seriously, to the point that when something like that happens, it's just really easy for me to slap a word in there to help someone understand it a little better. Let's see. I've seen that video. I thought it was funny. He understood the assignment, but he didn't. Exactly. Men don't know what tampons with the wing tips mean. She said pads with wings. He got the pads and wings. She failed to be more specific. Intentionally misrepresenting and belittling the opposite sex for the sake of humor, excuse me, isn't humor. You tell him, Jimmy. It's disrespect. It's also not based in reality, and genuine funny humor is based in reality. Exactly. The more in real life that humor is, the better. And that's what I like. I like humor that's based on something that may feel serious, but you somehow find the humor in it. That just helps me get through my day. And that's why I keep mentioning don't take life so seriously, because recently I had a huge meltdown. Like, I think it was like 2 nights ago and 2 days ago. Like, I just had a trash day. But as soon as I was helped with that, like nursed back to health, whoever was helping me, I was like, I don't want to tell you, because when I tell you, you're going to say something stupid. You're going to make me laugh. And right now, I want to be mad and I want to be sad. Something stupid like that. So for me, my favorite part about having a meltdown is that, sure, I'm having a bad time. I'm having a terrible time emotionally. But something about recovering from that, moving past that, that is my favorite feeling. It almost makes having those negative feelings a rewarding experience. But I don't want to normalize being that level of distressed in the name of, well, in the past when I was distressed, I was rewarded, therefore, this, that, and the other. No, nothing like that. But I'm grateful that compared to different seasons in my life, my past, in which I was by myself writing this out and I never got that kind of support, it's like that shit used to consume me and really, really costed me a lot of time feeling mentally at a bliss. But in the present, now that I have those tools and support and resources, it's like, I hate you for making me laugh when I'm sad, but at the same time, thank you for making me sad or making me happy when I'm sad, because it helps me not be consumed by it like I used to. So, yes, the guy understood the assignment. You're amazing. Thanks. I think she did it to highlight the difference in the way men and women communicate and think. When you hit your pinky toe and have to wait for it to be super painful. The art bill gave 9.99. Thank you. So sweet of you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this video, or rather this stream, got super demonetized because of the topics that we're going over. But you guys know I don't mind. Like, we are adults here, okay? So these are the kinds of topics that adults be discussing. And I think these are productive topics too. Garuda gave 5. Thank you so much, King. I haven't forgotten about you. I feel like, was it you who I told I have to get back to on one of the comments? I'm slowly but surely getting back to the comments, guys. Thanks for being so patient. Hope you enjoy the rest of your night, Queen. Thank you. You too. I support women who want to work and loyal women who want to be loyal, barefoot, and prego. Well, me, I definitely don't want the kids. I definitely want to continue to work, but within my reasonable capabilities. Like, I'm never going to be out there grinding like a man because I'm not a man. And I hate that in the modern day, women are expected to do all that because that's the new playing field that we have created with all these politics. And that's the part of politics that anytime an absurd point is ridiculed, I have a blast with that. And to me, the way that women try to incorporate themselves into male dominated fields and be like, I can do everything that a man can and better. Where the hell is that attitude coming from? That is beyond the arrogance. There is no way that you guys are gonna catch me saying that and meaning it. The only time I say that at work is when I'm trying to clown on one of my colleagues, and they'll literally be the ones calling themselves out. Like, I have one of my colleagues was like, I know that I'm a man and therefore I have a learning disability, but could you show me how to da 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 da? And I'm like, never ever in your life say that about yourself in my presence, because I will never be able to lift shit above my shoulders quite like you can. And there's some stuff, such as, I don't know, putting what is it, taking a car apart and putting it back together, those technical things. My brain is in the negatives when it comes to the understanding of that stuff. I don't even know how to turn a wrench. Okay, so you good. So don't belittle yourself like that just because a lot of women out here are angry and salty, and the only way they can make themselves feel better is by bringing other people down. That's bullshit. I also believe in marriage. I am romantic and still believe in chivalry is still alive. I gotta run. Have a great night, everyone. Bye, Jimmy. And later, happy weekend. Well, you guys, I definitely took a little longer than expected with the stream. No regrets, but for the next 25 ish minutes, I am going to try to get a little bit of exercise in. Thank you so much for tuning in, and for those of you lovely folks who helped the sister out financially. And yeah, I had fun with my streams. I'm sorry that my lighting is crap and that I don't get to stream very often, but trust me, I think about this every single day. I will keep working on it, and even if I gotta do like audio and no face for now, at least I'll try to make an appearance once at least every month until eventually we can build up to it. And yeah, go back to the good old days when I used to be able to do this like every week or something like that. I miss it. I truly do. I enjoyed the stream. Great stream. Yeah, great stream. I agree. Thank you guys. I couldn't have done it without you. All right. I'll